Welcome to another episode here. Today I'm going to be playing the new campaign trail. It's not something that I am trying out for the first time, I'm going to be honest, so if I win, then don't be surprised. But today we're going to be trying to change history here. We're going to be going through some of the historical elections, definitely not the more recent ones, because I don't want to get cancelled. And trying to change the outcome. We're trying to get the loser to win in this video. We're going to start off with, let's try and get Gerald Ford to beat Jimmy Carter. We're going to select Bob Dole as well as our running mate. So, we've selected Bob Dole as our running mate. Can I speak a little bit more about that? Well, I didn't actually select Bob Dole. Gerald Ford did. So I'm going to say that he is a type of Republican the whole party can get behind, because if I just say he's a staunch conservative, then a lot of liberals probably won't vote for me. So we're going to say, no, he's just a good Republican. Here's the overall campaign strategy. I think this is honestly the best one. This first option here is the best option, because it says, yo, I'm the president of the United States, right? We definitely don't want to say the second or third one. The fourth one, probably not even a good option as well, so we're going to pick the first one here. Alright, so yeah, we start off being absolutely demolished, right? We're just ahead in Utah, okay? We are getting absolutely smashed in this election. Let's start off here. Let's go to Idaho, because I think we have the best chance at defeating Idaho. Or defeating Carter in Idaho, I should say. Maybe I should have gone to Nebraska, but in a few turns, Jimmy Carter is going to say something that he's really going to regret, and it's going to give us a lot more votes. A lot of voters are concerned about honesty and integrity because of the Watergate scandal, which is fresh in the minds of people. What can I say about myself in this aspect, particularly in light of my pardon of Richard Nixon? Whoa, I didn't pardon Richard Nixon, but I'm going to pretend like I did. We're definitely not going to say this one, right? Because this one will destroy our chances, because we don't want to blame Jimmy Carter, right? We want to say, hey, look, I'm actually good. Right? But this first one, like saying I'm normal, right? Anyone who says I'm normal is not normal, right? So I'm going to say the second one here. I think this is the best option, and it's a good strategy. See, I'm winning. What is my opinion on the court-ordered busing of students? So this was obviously a very controversial policy that was in place before. Gerald Ford was obviously a conservative, but even by 1976, busing was not popular. So I don't know what he would say, but we don't want to say this, because sometimes I play as Jimmy Carter in this game, and when I say this, this is even too much for Jimmy Carter, so it would definitely be too much for Gerald Ford. So I think we're going to say that both sides, I can see both sides of this issue, which they didn't say anything about it, so hopefully that was a good strategy. Instead of going into these states that in a couple of turns I'm going to be leading in anyways, I'm going to go over here to Virginia, just for fun. We're getting cooked in Virginia, right? But I think, in a couple turns, right? I keep saying this, but Jimmy Carter is going to say something he's going to regret. Gerald Ford is going to have more of a standing in the polls. What is my opinion on the federal government making loans to states or cities in need of financial help? I'm supposed to be a conservative in this game, right? Conservatives are definitely not big fans of that. So, conservatives are not in favor of big government. So I'm going to pick this one here. Oh, this is not good. I did not know that it was Gerald Ford who did the bailout. Maybe I probably should have. But you know what? We're still before Jimmy Carter's massive misstatement. So, we should be fine. Let's go to no, not yet. Not yet, my bad. Do I support the ratification of the ERA? Everyone did, except for Ronald Reagan, and that's why it didn't get passed, because he was elected president, so of course I'm going to support this amendment. Let's go to Illinois. Is a state that he did win in real life, so I'm going to go there, just for fun. Would I support a law for universal health care? If I was Jimmy Carter, I would say yes, but I'm playing as Gerald Ford, so I would say not, absolutely not, because would you support making healthcare free? No, right? That doesn't sound exactly good. I'm going to say it's a noble goal, but it will add too much of a financial burden. That's the best option here. Yeah, C, it's the best option. Oof. Even today, 50 years later, this is still a very controversial issue. But as a conservative, Gerald Ford is a conservative, he would be opposed to the practice of abortion, but I don't think he would try to overturn it. So I would go for this one. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to California, because California has a lot of votes, even though we're losing there. But Jimmy Carter is going to say something. Do I support the Humphrey-Hawkins Full Employment Act? It's got Humphrey in the name, right? Johnson's vice president, Lyndon Johnson's vice president. So obviously a conservative would not support what the liberals are doing, right? So he's going to see both sides of the issue, because even I'm not 100% sure. Right? The Republicans want me to veto the law, but I don't know. What is my position on a pardon of draft evaders from the Vietnam War? The war is definitely very controversial, but I think this is probably what he probably would have said in real life. I oppose any pardon for people who evaded their military service. But I'm going to say I think it's time for America to move past this issue. I will issue an immediate pardon. And it's not popular with Republicans, but it's not exactly looking like I'm trying to win over the Republicans here. So I should be okay if I just say that about draft evaders. Let's go to Pennsylvania. It's not a state that he won historically. Hopefully we can change that. Do you believe the United States can afford a reduction in defense spending? In 1976, a lot of people were saying, yeah, we should probably reduce the Cold War. No one was really saying, more funding, like in the 50s. If I were to do this with Thomas Dewey, then I probably wouldn't be able to say that. But with Gerald Ford, I would have to say that Vietnam is over. The talks with the Soviet Union has reduced the need for massive defense expenditures. I believe that any attempt to reduce our deficit should include defense cuts. Republicans are not going to be happy with that, but again, we're not trying to win over Republicans. Okay, so here is where Jimmy Carter says the thing he really regrets. To Playboy. So we're not going to say anything. We're not going to do this press conference, because that would be super dumb. We're going to say that we can have any good news at this point and just shut up, right? Just let Carter shoot himself in the foot. See, we have much more states now. I don't think he's going to say one more thing, but I think we're going to have the debate is going to go really into my favor, if I remember this correctly. So we're not all done yet. Yes. So this is what it's looking like now. We're still getting crushed, absolutely destroyed. However, it's a much more manageable victory than what we were dealing with beforehand. Some of my operatives want to attack Carter for the way he... What is it? I should know how to say this word, but I don't. Do I approve of a series of ads labeling him as a flip-flopper? Yes. We should. Yeah, I mean the Nixon pardon, right? So, probably not the best thing. We probably shouldn't have done that, but I did not authorize that decision. That was somebody else, named Gerald. My Secretary of Agriculture, Errol Butz, will be quoted in next week's Rolling Stones as making some very crude and racist joke. Uh-oh. Why would you do that, bro? Some have suggested you fire him. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to fire him. We cannot have racism anymore. We're banning racism. You have vetoed a significant number of bills in my 2 years as president. What was my reasoning? I don't know. I don't know why I did that, but I'm going to come up with the reason. I think it's because that the Democrats, the radical left Democrats, are doing way too much. Okay, what is their score now? We're still getting absolutely destroyed. How are we going to fix this? We need to win over Illinois. We got California so far. Let's go to Illinois. Oof. Uh-oh, it's getting worse. I think we're going to lose this. Do you think that the Panama Canal... So the Panama Canal, obviously, Americans took the land to build the canal. The canal is owned by America, or was owned by America, then they gave it back to Panama later on. In 1976, the Republicans would have said no. So we're going to say no here. How can we best prevent another episode like the 1973 oil crisis? I have no idea. But genuinely, I don't know what we would do to prevent that. The Strait of Hormuz just opened, so we should probably be taking more lessons from that to get more oil. Right, oil prices are going down, thankfully. What we can do is drill. We're going to drill in Alaska. Hopefully that's going to be our way to victory here. Are we winning? We are winning in California, barely. How are we going to get these extra votes, chat? Ohio looks like it's going to be more competitive than I would have thought it would be. Okay. We only have 6 more questions left. Okay, this is not going to go well. Could we have more done to save South Vietnam in 1975? You tell me. Well, Gerald Ford. He's not... I don't know what he would say, actually. Let's say that... just give the non-committal answer, the middle ground answer. And go to the next question here. Right to work laws. Gerald Ford would not be a strong supporter of labor unions, so the second one is definitely not it. So it's going to be the third one, right to work. The Republicans are more right to work, and the Democrats are more labor unions. We are losing in California, and we don't want to be. We do not want to lose California. We lose California, we lose the game. Even though we're pretty much losing everything already anyways. We're not doing a great job necessarily. The United States started selling large amounts of grain to the Soviet Union in 1973. What is your opinion on this policy? So I would have been president in 1973. No, I wouldn't have been. It would have still been Richard Nixon. I became president the next year. This policy helps sustain an unsustainable Soviet system. I believe that we should never bail out communism from its failures if we're serious about winning the Cold War. That's probably not what the American people want to hear. I think they want to hear that it's a win-win. It helps our farmers, and it sees the Soviet Union depending on American enterprise. That's probably the best way to put this one. Okay, next question here. General George Brown, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has made some comments that Israel has become a burden to the national defense effort. Do you agree with that? Wow. I wonder if they would say something like this now. But this is 1976. To be honest, I do agree, but I'm not going to say I agree. I'm going to say that Israel is one of our most valued allies. We get the Jewish vote, especially in New York, right? We need to be winning everything that we can be winning. We're going to go to Illinois again. No, this is not looking good, or is it? No, California is just a significantly more red shade. This is just not looking good for us. We're getting cooked. In 1972, George McGovern proposed replacing the income tax exemption with a $1,000 guaranteed minimum income for every American citizen. Are you interested in this type of proposal? We are not going to associate with the Democrats, especially one of the worst Democratic campaigns in presidential election history. So we're going to say we need to reduce the size of government and lower taxes. This is what Gerald Ford would have wanted to say. We're going to say it for him. Penultimate question. Do you think that the tax cuts in early 1975 were the right economic policy for this country? I don't know. I'm going to say that this was a good policy since it was our policy. Obviously, it's got to be a good policy if it was ours. Right? Vlogging Through History just posted something. Alright, I will check that out later. Okay, so we have a significantly much higher chance of winning right now than we did last term. We need, how many votes is that? 55 votes to win? Illinois. We're going to say Illinois, and we're going to go for the Midwest. We're going to hit as many states in the Midwest as we can. Alright, guys, let's see. The election results are coming in. Let's see. Okay. So I think we're probably going to lose this one. So if we do, leave some comments below, and I will check out more of this. Maybe we'll do the 1948 one after this. We're just going to do this one. I think I said multiple in the beginning, but I am not doing multiple. I am way too tired. We are going to try and win this, guys. Alright, Gerald Ford. Come on, Gerald. Alright. So we've won Indiana and Vermont. Right, the South is going to go all Democrat because Jimmy Carter is a Democrat and he's from Georgia. So we have to rely on the North. Even still, the North is not going to go in our favor, and the West. And definitely the Midwest. Minnesota, we're not going to win Minnesota, right? And we lost. So quickly too, we lost. We didn't stand a chance. We needed to win Ohio. Yeah, we were pretty close to winning in Ohio. And Illinois. Ohio and Illinois killed us there. Oh, we're absolutely getting wrecked. Oof, this was not good. Oof. Did he win Connecticut in real life? He won New Jersey, so we lost New Jersey from historical results. Did he win Connecticut in real life? We lost New Mexico too. Sorry, New Mexico and New Jersey. Oof. Was South Dakota really that close? Wow. It was much closer than I thought it would have been. Okay, so we got wrecked. We got absolutely destroyed. Alright, so I guess that means I'm gonna have to do this again. So I guess I'll see you then.